Hi, everyone. I'm Shane Brennan here with Blaze Radio Online, and I'm here with a very special guest, Mike Pellegrino of New Jersey band Latewaves. Mike, how you doing today?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. So let's just dive right into it. You guys have a new single out, Extra Pale. It's your first release on streaming since acting out a few years ago, and it's going to be on your first LP. How long has this track been in the works for you guys?
So, yeah, so we basically sat on our full record for a year. When COVID happened, we saw some bands just putting their record out, going for it, and we've heard of other bands just kind of waiting a little while. And since it is our first full length record, and we put blood, sweat, and tears, we paid for it ourselves before No Hope Records took us on. And just all the work we did, we were like, you know what? Let's wait it out. Let's see if there's any light at the end of the tunnel. So over the summer, we started working with, Dim Entertainment, our new manager. And Matt over there, really set the wheels in motion for, finding a way or a home for this record. And once, like I said, there seemed to be some sort of reason to, start sticking our head out of the tunnel, we put the plans in motion. So yeah, we finished the record a year ago and recorded it over the span of a year before that. So it's been a long time in the making.
That's good that you guys are finally able to release it. And so I listened to the single a bunch of times. I love it. It has like the sound. It's almost a little grungy, but it also has I could also kind of hear a huge influence from 2000s like pop punk and emo type. How do bands and songs from that genre and era influence your sound in general?
I mean, I think those bands are just kind of like in our veins. Everybody talks about, the music you listen to in high school is going to be your favorite music for the rest of your life because it's such a coming of age moment for you. And, I grew up with Saves the Day, Taking Back Sunday, just everyone in that realm. In New Jersey, we have a venue called Starland Ballroom, which is where the bigger bands were, and everyone came through that you wanted to.
That's in Sayreville, right?
Yep, Sayreville, New Jersey. And then, one show I saw there was Alkaline Trio, Senses Fail, and The Loved Ones, which is an epic, punk, emo hybrid lineup. But, on the other side of things, I grew up playing in bands and going to firehouses, VFW halls, basement shows in New Jersey, which is, where, the bands I was in would get their start and start playing. So that whole kind of, emo pop punk, that's kind of written into our DNA. And as much as, you try to grab from other things, I feel like there's always going to be a base, like a core element of a lot of those influences from growing up with it.
Yeah, totally. So the LP is titled Hell to Pay. That's coming out in June. What was the idea or motivation behind the project? And what do you want new listeners specifically to get out of it when it comes out?
Awesome. So Hell to Pay is kind of a culmination of how it feels to, put things off and have anxiety and to, kind of fight your inner demons. It's not religious, even though it's called Hell to Pay, and I just said the word demons, but there's no religious overtones. It's more so a record about, and we didn't know while we were writing it. You kind of look back when it's done and kind of see what it's about. But it's about, like I said, procrastination, anxiety, and most of all, being your own worst enemy. Being fully aware that some of my habits are the reason that things are hard for me. And it's kind of like I've described it maybe as like a voicemail you leave your therapist, maybe, as far as the lyrics go. Musically, we're just into big choruses, big riffs, and fun. We want the music. I think it's perfect. It's going to come out this summer because I think it's like a party record. I think it's a drinking record. It's you don't have to drink while you listen to it. I promise it's good sober, but it's just one of those records that there's a fight to it, and yeah, just big riffs and honest lyrics. I think is what we're all about.
Yeah, really cool. So let's dive into last year. So it was tough to navigate for independent artists like you guys.
Yeah.
And for everyone really, but it looks like this summer we could see live music kind of come back in earnest, maybe a little bit. So what aspect of live performance are you looking forward to the most when that day comes that you could finally get in front of a packed bar or something and sing your guts out?
Honestly, at this point, I'd be stoked to even just like load in, which is the worst part about being in a band. Just like loading into a venue right now sounds awesome to me. And it was just like every time you ever do it, especially when there's stairs and all our stuff's in road cases and we couldn't get a parking spot anywhere near, like I'd kill for that right now. So I take back every complaint I've ever had about basements or playing the third floor of a venue or whatever. But honestly, I think it's just we've got to do some live streams. We did record ourselves performing the record front to back, which we'll be announcing like when that'll come out soon. So there have been aspects of us playing, but there's nothing like playing to people. Whether it be in Asbury Park, where half of them are your friends, or miles and miles away from home in front of 10 strangers that were nice enough to come out and see you on tour. I think nothing matches playing to people. There's an unspoken energy that science cannot explain in words, that performing for someone, the thing that you love to do the most, is like you cannot replicate it, as you saw through all these live streams. And we're thankful for all the live streams we did. For Jimmy Eat Worlds was amazing. Every Time I Dies was amazing. And I loved watching all those, but it's like I said, nothing like being there and with people. And this year has proven that like live music is so important and essential to life, to me at least.
So one last question. What are you listening to right now? What's a recommendation that you could just throw somebody who's watching?
Okay, so right now my two favorite records are a band called Citizen. Their newest record, I'm staring at my vinyl player right now, but I can't remember the name. It's Citizen's newest record, and a band called 68, just the number 68. Their new record is called Give One, Take One. And that record is just like big, scary rock and roll riffs. And it's just like, like the weather hasn't broken yet, so it's still kind of depressing in New Jersey. So like, yeah, I'm just down to like get in the van because our van is my car, and just like blast these big scary rock riffs and just kind of like mean mug everybody. Even though like as you're talking to me, you realize I'm a teddy bear, but that's really
kind of go all punk rock on people. Just roll the windows down. Oh, I see a dog. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I have two.
Oh, no way.
Ramona. That's Ramona Flowers.
Oh, I get
it. And that's Action Bronson. Not very action-y Bronson is. He sleeps a lot, but
Sleepy Bronson. Those are the best two dog names I think I've ever heard.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you like Scott Pilgrim versus the World then?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't not. I'll never get tired of that movie. And the songs
are insane. It's aged like fine wine.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, it gets better. I always miss something too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. But like every time one of my friends makes fun of me for not eating meat, and I go, at least my brain isn't filled with curds and whatever Todd says.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So thank you so much for coming on with us today. Please listen to Extra Pale out now on Spotify. Listen to Acting Out too while you're there. Hell to Pay is coming out in June. Very exciting. Thank you, Mike Pellegrino, for being here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Have a good day, everyone. I'll stop.